We'd like to welcome to the show comedian and host of Animal Planet's Top Hooker. I love it. Reno Collier. How you doing, Reno? Thanks for coming on.
Hi. Man, I am doing, thank you for having me on. I'm doing fantastic.
We're thrilled to have you. But now let's get right to the title of your new show, Top Hooker. Now, are people coming up and confusing this for some late night show on Skinamax?
Yeah, well, especially my mom. When I'm like, yeah, I'm hosting Top Hooker, and she's like, you're Scottish, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little tricky, but you know what? It's the same producers that did Top Shot and Dirty Jobs, and what it is, it's like a high-octane, extreme fishing show that it's just not like. I mean, people say like, well, say it's not your grandpa's fishing show. It actually was my grandpa's fishing show, but it may not be other people's grandpa's fishing shows. There's some unbelievable deep sea stuff. We have fly water guys. We got, I mean, there's professional bass fishermen. There's guys from everywhere that are coming on this thing, and girls, by the way. And the girls are unbelievable. The fly fisherman kid is from Colorado. There's people. There's a deep sea guy from South Carolina. There's a girl who is a rescue diver for the fire department down in the Keys, who is unbelievable fish, or woman, whatever you're supposed to call it. I mean, we got everything on the show. There's a bodybuilder from South Africa who was in the military, who's this huge dude, and they do everything from, I mean, catching stuff in their mouth to coming off of a zip line to, I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Now, I mean, I love it because when I think of fishing, I think of people Danny's age sitting on a boat, falling in and out of sleep, reading the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, trying to figure out exactly where they fall. So I'm glad that you've mixed things up a bit. I do have to ask you, the hot women, where did that come from? What part of fishing is that?
All right, first of all, when they asked me what kind of fisherman I was, that was the kind of fisherman that I am. The 12 steps and the beers and the, you know, rubber worms and all that stuff. The girls that are on the show are unbelievable anglers. Like, it's not like they got on there for being good looking. They're just freaking badass. Like, the one girl from Sarasota is a bow fisherwoman. Like, I mean, she is tough as nails. They didn't get the job, they didn't get on the show because they were hot. They got on the show because of how they fish.
Nice. Well, I want to see that, and I want to see if they look good too.
Obviously.
But there's some crazy stunts that some of the participants had to do. Did anybody refuse to do some of these things because they were so outlandish?
A couple times I messed with them, and they refused to do the stuff I was just screwing around with them with. I was kind of setting the bar so high that they would say no, and then it seemed like it was going to be okay. You know what I mean?
We have a clip of them trying to collect goldfish in their mouth and spitting into a small tank. I mean,
no, they did that.
They all
did that. They all did that, and they all did everything. The thing was, they're such professional fishermen and women that a lot of the stuff they were like, this isn't fishing like I learned how to fish. Like, I'm catching it in my mouth. I'm, you know, way up in the air. I'm all over the place. I mean, they got stuck in positions where some of it for them, they kind of felt like, well, I'm better than this. And it's like, well, you're still doing it or you ain't winning.
All right, well, in addition to fishing, obviously, you are a comedian. That is your bread and butter. I need to hear, what is your hell gig story from being on the road and doing stand-up, my friend?
I gotta say, it's probably the first time I ever went on stage. I was in a holiday. It was the first time I ever got paid to go on stage. I'd been on stage in the Punchline in Atlanta, which used to be packed all the time, right? I was in Ocala, Florida, in a Holiday Inn, their little lounge bar thing. I showed up and I was the MC, and there were 2 people sitting in there, and there were probably 105, and that's giving them 8 years. And they're sitting there, and the lights are all on, there's a popcorn machine, and there's literally a brick wall that's about 3 feet high that goes up, and it just says comedy across it. So I go down there and I go, hey, where's the comedy club? And they were like, you're in it. And I was like, no, I mean, I do shows for like 300 people. And he goes, well, I'm paying you $75 for a week, so you're gonna do a show for everybody who's in here. I'm like, there's 2 people up there. And he's like, go. And I'm like, no. And they have all this music that's real built up, and it's like, dun, 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 dun. Are you ready? And I hear the old man go, why are the lights off? And I'm like, oh, God. Like, death, right? So I go up and they're like, you have to do 20 minutes or you're not getting paid. Now, at the time, I didn't live anywhere, so the hotel is the only place I had to stay, you know? So I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, I'm not going up there. And they're like, you go, you do your time, you're not, and the guy who was going up after me had to do 30. The guy after me had to do an hour. And I'm standing there going like, oh man, I can't. And they're like, just go. And I go up and I'm going like, hey, how's everybody doing tonight? And the old lady yells out, my husband wants the lights back on. And he goes, what is this place? And I go, are you ready for your next act? I totally booked.
That's outstanding.
That is
I brought
great.
them up, bagged them. They ended up giving me $25 for the week, but I did get the hotel.
There you go.
That's the main thing. You didn't sleep on the floor. Because we've all done that. But thank you so much, Reno Collier, host of Animal Planet's Top Hooker, not to be confused with the movie Top Hooker, the Cat Stack story. This is premiering June 2nd on Animal Planet. Congratulations on living the dream, my friend.
You guys, thank you so much for having me on. I love the show. You guys are the best, man.